everyone knows by now, Charlemagne the God landed a $200 million deal. All right, Ebony says, Charlemagne the God is stepping into a new chapter of influence. The media personality and co-host of The Breakfast Club has secured a reported $200 million multi-year deal with iHeartMedia, further cementing his place not just behind the mic, but at the table where decisions are made. This moment is bigger than a headline. It reflects how Black voices, when built with consistency, cultural trust, and vision, can shift industries and redefine what long-term value looks like in media. From radio to podcasting to ownership conversations, Charlemagne's rise continues to challenge who gets to lead, shape narratives, and profit from the culture. I just want to see if Forbes said anything different. Forbes just says that in this issue, they discuss his 5-year, $200 million extension with iHeart, which also enables him to expand the Black Effect podcast network.
I mean, I good for Charlemagne. I don't have anything bad to say about this. Get your coins is what I always say. And, shout out to the haters who, noticed that it was the end of his contract.
Mm-hmm.
And we're out there saying, it's very curious that there's no deal. And listen, meanwhile, Charlemagne was in the back office signing some paperwork, okay? He was getting it done.
Sure was.
I think this is great for him. I think this is great for the creators on the Black Effect. I love what he's doing with that. And I think that it's really important to, as a person who works for one of those networks, I think it's really important to highlight diverse voices. I think it's really important to make sure that there is representation across the podcasting world. There's so many genres, there's so many different types of people that are doing this, and I think it's really important that in spaces like iHeart and the list goes on, that there is strong representation across the board. And I think for me, the Black Effect represents that there are they're being Black voices are being made a priority in the podcasting space through them. And I love that, and that excites me very much. And so, I think everybody wins here. I mean, Charlemagne really, really wins. $200 million ain't nothing to ain't nothing to lose sleep about. But I think this is great. This is a good step in the right direction for everyone who he is, helping to put on, helping to, join this world or stay in it for some people, and that's really exciting to me.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know if you was done. I didn't want to cut you off.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think the haters are salty. First of all, I won't name names, but even their congratulations doesn't sound very congratulatory, if you will. And so I think the haters are salty. I think much like, actually, I'm not even going to say that. I think everyone chooses their own path, and he's chosen his path, and it's worked out for him.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think it's really interesting. I'm curious to see what he will do next with this newfound power, I guess to say. Because one of the things that came out that was not in the post that we read is Charlamagne revealed he owns more than 50% of the Black Effect network. because people were saying for a long time that he really didn't own it, and that it was an iHeart owned company, and he made it clear that it was a joint venture in which he owns slightly more than iHeart. If I remember the number correctly, it's 55%, not 51%, like the basic setup of majority ownership. So he owns 55%, if I'm correct, and iHeart owns 45, which makes him the majority owner of the company and makes him a person who could make decisions. And so I think that's really interesting as something that needs to be highlighted, because they often say Charlemagne is a worker, not an owner. And that has been proven untrue. Yes, everybody wins. I agree. Charlemagne has also made it clear he's bringing in new shows in 2026. I believe he said 6 new shows will be added to the network. But I could be wrong on that number. Anyway, the number doesn't really matter. What matters is that Charlemagne is empowering others, bringing others in, putting other people on, and putting other people on big platforms. As we know, and as we spoke about, some of these shows will be on Netflix for video. The video version of their podcast will exclusively be on Netflix. So if you sign to Black Effect and now your shit is on Netflix, it's a big deal right there. You know what I'm saying? And even if it's
I would be a
not,
worker for that.
right. And even if it's not one of the many shows that's being picked up by Netflix, you're still in a position where you have the opportunity to be one of those shows because of the deal that's in place, and because Charlemagne has the power to speak up and make moves on behalf of those who are signed to him. So I think this is a good look all around. Congratulations to Charlemagne. Congratulations to everyone who is signed to the Black Effect Network, as you have also now been elevated along with Charlemagne in this deal. Not to say that their pockets are going to be benefited by this deal, but this gives them a power, the ability to be seen more, heard more, and included more. So I think that even if this only gives you new resources, it's still a win for the people underneath the Black Effect umbrella.
And I think when people, just to circle back to the worker versus owner, when you're talking about this particular space, there are a lot of partnerships happening that allow for owners to expand their business. Sometimes, and this is what happens, right? Let's say you own, good example of this is like Honey Pot, where Honey Pot was independently owned or whatever. I don't really understand how the ownership works right now, but they put their product in Target. They had or have a partnership with Target. So they don't, it doesn't mean that they no longer own their company, but it means that, hey, I need help distributing this. I need to put this in a place where, you know, you're not only going to house it, but you're gonna, promote it. You're gonna make sure it gets on the shelves. You're gonna do X, Y, and Z. And in turn, I make money off of that. I understand that there are people in this world who do things independently and they are the sole people in the business, or however many employees they have or whatever it is, where they do every single thing themselves. But the reality of the situation is every company does not operate like that, and it's
Right.
not a bad thing. It may be like you said, a different path, but it doesn't mean that it's not helping their business, and it doesn't mean that you don't own, doesn't mean it's not yours. So I think that when we're thinking about some of these partnerships, sure, there are podcast networks that create original content, and those are, they own those things, and probably not even like full ownership in the same way. But a lot of these deals are partnerships. They're not necessarily, well, you own me now and you own all my intellectual property, unless you signed a bad deal. And some people did, in fact, sign bad deals.
Right.
That's it.
You're right.
That's my two.
No, that's a great point.